It's This Week in Bourbon. And have a good night, bro. Sweet dreams. And here's your headlines for May 23rd, 2025. Scotch producer Loch Lomond Group has acquired American Distilling New York Distilling Company. ORCA Golf has a new bourbon-inspired golf bag line. And Milam Greene introduce The Answer. But before we get started, here's a quick word from our partners. Everybody, welcome back. It's This Week in Bourbon. I'm Kenny.
Hey, Ryan Cecil here.
Yeah. And, I was going to make a phone call to you last night, but it was, what time do you go to bed? You like 9:30?
Last night was 9:30, yeah.
9:30?
Not 9, but usually between 9:30 and 10.
I guess I could have. So anyway, there's this awesome new trend going around on TikTok where guys are calling their best friends just to wish them good night. And then they're going like, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
He goes like, I'm just telling you sweet dreams, man.
That would have definitely been my reaction. Yeah. I'm like, you called me for this?
But it's absolutely hilarious. Like these guys are like, why are you calling me? Why are you wishing me a good night?
If I see you call me at 9:30, I'm going to immediately have anxiety because you've never called me there before. I'm like, something terrible is going on.
Yeah, I wanted to get your reaction, but yeah, I didn't pull through with it. We were sitting on the couch.
I'm glad you warned me.
Yeah, but it was, like I said, it's a fun trend going through.
That's funny. So it's overtaken the national park trend?
It is over. Well, yeah, I mean, that's how trends work, right? You got a solid 48 hours of being famous, and after that
you sent us some to Brian and I. It was like a TikTok, I can't remember what it was, but immediately like my TikTok feed was all national park.
Oh, was it really?
Yes. all the different songs and whatnot. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, see, that's what happens as soon as you click like on one, then they want to show you more and more and more of it.
Yeah,
or you get shared.
It was funny. It was like, I can't remember his part. It was like, my neck, my back, and I was like, okay.
Yep, we've been there before. Remember that song? God, that had to have been.
Oh, that's college heydays. That's like,
was it
2001, 2002? Something.
Yeah,
or maybe
say senior year of high school for us.
Or I was a senior in 2003, so it might have been like 2005, something like that.
Was it? Oh man,
I don't know.
Good days.
Good days.
Good different days. I mean, I'm not going to be the person that's going to be singing and dance of those anymore. By the way, I was playing some songs because my daughter was finishing up school, and they had a 5th grade dance. And I was like, I wonder what they're going to be playing at 5th grade dance. And I said, are you going to play some Fetty Wap? And both my
Fetty Wap.
Yeah, they had the same exact reaction as you. It's like, y'all never listen to like Trap Queen and stuff like that?
No.
Oh man. Okay. I guess I'm the one that's still young at heart over here.
Yeah.
I keep.
So how was the dance for 5th graders?
I don't know. I'm sure it was just like what you would expect, where they all sat on opposite sides of the gym and just didn't talk to each other.
Do they measure like the space between the boy and girl dance? That's what they did at my high school. They're like, Sister Susan's walking around like, no touching, no bumping and grinding.
No bumping and grinding.
It was funny. Sister Susan was this like old nun, and she got up.
It sounds about right. It's called Sister Susan. And
she got on the morning announcements one time. She's like, and the dance is tonight, and remember, there will be no touching or no. She was like, there will be no touching within 6 inches, and definitely no bumping and grinding. And I was like, everybody was like, what? A nun just said bumping and grinding.
Thank you, Sister Susan, for all these years of coming back and giving us that love there. Oh, that's amazing. Well, we can dive into some of the news, but we'll talk about some stuff that we have going on. If you want to learn more about what we're doing here at Pursuit Spirits, we've been doing a lot of stuff over the past couple of weeks. We got a lot of stuff happening. And
a lot's an understatement.
Yeah, but we want to do more and get out there virtually, and we've got a team that can help do it. So if you want some guided tastings of like all the Pursuit Spirits line or some things that are happening, or you want somebody to jump on your whiskey club virtually, let's do it. We got a team here that can help start doing that as well. We also want to start putting out an APB. What do you call it? I don't even know what an APB is, but it's like let's sound the sirens, whatever it is. But we need more ambassadors. Yeah, we need an announcement. But we'll throw up the red flag. We need more ambassadors. So if you're in the New Mexico area, if you're in Texas, I mean, we need something in all your major markets from Houston, Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio. We can definitely use some people there to help spread the good word of Pursuit and everything like that. So if you are interested in being an ambassador and you know one of our markets, please feel free to reach out. Kenny at pursuitspirits.com, and we'll send you the PDF. You get the lowdown on what it's like to stand inside of liquor stores and hand out whiskey and preach the gospel.
It's amazing.
Somebody's got to do it. It
is fun. But
there is something to be said about it, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many people that have come here that says, I can't wait to be an ambassador when you open up California or Arizona or whatever, because it's whiskey is the lubricant for conversation.
Oh, totally.
And you're able to have somebody come in and they are there to buy whatever peach schnapps for the day, and you get to explain the story of two podcasters just laying it all on the line.
Yeah, and two, we'll pay you to do it. And
yes, it's even better.
And you make incredible connections with it. It's a great bourbon's that, like you said, that conduit that really connects people and creates relationships, friendships. So if you love what we're doing, we'd be more than honored and blessed for you to help spread our story for us.
Because he's not lying. We actually had an ambassador get picked up, and now they work for Michter's.
Yep.
See?
We're the minor league.
We're the feeder league.
The feeder league.
That's what it comes down to. All right, let's go ahead. One last plug for this: the 3rd annual Bonsai Weekend, Friday, May 30th through June 1st. It's happening in Louisville at the Waterfront Botanical Gardens. You can get tickets at bonsaiweekend.com. And also, if you want to see everything else that we're doing on the Pursuit side, you can go and check us out on Facebook at the Pursuit Parlor. That's the best way to get involved. We're posting in there pretty regularly. There's a lot of things that we can talk about for downtown operations and everything that's happening. So that's the place that you can get up to the date information on. We're going to be opening our doors on Whiskey Row there as well.
Yeah, it's a fun place. I try to get involved in every post. Conversation's tough to do because there's a lot going on.
I at least hit the like button on most of them.
We're fortunate, and thank you for everyone that's in Pursuit Parlor, but it's been a lot of fun, and thank you all for the support.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's go ahead. Let's dive in with some of the whiskey news here. And so the first one is that we'll kind of see, maybe this will be a trend, knowing where American whiskey's at and see what's going to be happening, that Scotch producer Loch Lomond Group has made its first move into American whiskey with the purchase of the New York Distilling Company, and that sits alongside its own single malt Scotch whiskeys from Loch Lomond, Glen Scotia, and Little Mill. So upon acquisition, LLG plans to further investment in its distillations and production capabilities, also its visitor on-site experiences, as well as helping the New York Distilling Company grow its portfolio of the brands in the U.S. and globally. In March of 2024, New York Distilling Company moved its distillery operations from Williamsburg to Bushwick. Man alive. I don't know where I was like, Bushwick. Maybe it's because it's the other thing that's also, I'll finish this in a second while we're talking about stuff that's viral on TikTok. And have you seen Bush Apple has exploded?
Like the beer?
Yeah.
No.
Instead of like,
they had the Bush Peach. I know that was popular for a minute, and then now it's Apple.
No, Bush Apple, man. People were like buying it by the 2 hands full of cases.
Oh, it's the current Crown Blackberry.
It currently is.
People love flavored shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, you had Orchards. What was it? That one?
Angry Orchard.
Angry Orchard. That's what I was thinking of. That had a lot of the people will enjoy that, and I guess Bush is the Angry Orchard, and they're trying to make it big. But
yeah, you got about 3 to 6 months of that, and then it dies, and you got to come out with something else.
Then you got to keep the flavor train going here.
That's right.
Anyway, back to New York Distilling Company. They were the ones that came out with Jaywalk Rye. I think we talked about it here on the podcast at one point. And they were founded in 2011 by Tom Potter and Alan Katz. However, the financial terms of the deal have not been disclosed.
I'm not familiar with New York Distilling or any of their products, but obviously they are doing something great. If a brand like, what'd you call them? I know I'm familiar with
Loch Lomond.
Loch Lomond, familiar with them, so that's exciting for the category, and exciting for New York Distilling. So they must believe in American whiskey.
Well, it's kind of interesting because here's the thing. We get stuck in our little bubble here because we are a whiskey company. But the reality is that to make it, you have to be a family of brands.
Yep.
You can't just be whiskey. You've got to have gin. You got to have rum. You got to have all these different things that create an entire portfolio, because they all eventually balance each other out. If whiskey's down and
Gin's hot,
or sweet tea, vodka is in,
or apple beer,
whatever it is, right? You gotta have a little bit of a balance there. So interesting to see that the Scotch is actually acquiring an American distillery. So interesting to see that. Who knows if that'll be a trend that keeps going?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, we act like we know what we're doing here at Bourbon Pursuit a lot. I feel like we could do some of these competitions, but I don't know. It might be one of those things where people find out we're actually frauds at the end of the day. But there is the education body of the Council of Whiskey Masters has now welcomed 16 new members after following its annual exam, and that was held last month in Texas. So the April 2025 examinations featured blind tastings, comprehensive oral theory exams, and essays covering a variety of topics. There was also an international judging panel comprised of current masters as well as members of the council's board, and candidates were evaluated on all aspects of their chosen specialization, including the knowledge of history, production methods, major distilleries, industry, tasting skills, and an understanding of regulations and standards of identity. So there are a few people that have been now recognized as Masters of Bourbon, and that's William Breeden, Andy Carton, Siddharth Sarkar, and Bethany Stewart. So congratulations to all of you. The Council of Whiskey Masters now comprises over 80 members worldwide.
Welcome to the Masters Club. That's awesome.
Yes. I don't think you get a jacket. I don't think you get a green jacket. Maybe it's a brown jacket.
A lapel pin.
You could do that.
Yeah.
But it's quite an achievement to do something like that.
I'd be scared to go through that.
I know, I would too.
Terrible tester.
Well, I don't really know what it gives us either way, so that's why I wouldn't do it. But no, I would like to just go through it.
They'll announce Ryan failed.
Yeah, like, oh, these guys, they really don't know what they're doing. Yeah. It's one of those things that I don't want to figure out how bad I really suck at this.
Yep.
That's why we ask the questions. We don't answer a lot of them.
100%.
We do our best, though. All right. So the other one is that BMW's Car Club of America, they're actually holding a new experience that blends horsepower, heritage, and hospitality in true Kentucky fashion. It's called Rendezvous, the Bourbon Trail 2025, and it's now taking place June 12th through the 15th in Louisville, Kentucky, which happens to be the same time as Pursuit Palooza. But they're inviting you.
And National Bourbon Week.
And it's going to be a world-class bourbon and BMW excellence kind of experience. You're going to be staying at the iconic Brown Hotel. You're going to go through curated adventures through some renowned distilleries, Bardstown Bourbon Company, Heaven Hill, and Lux Row. And then you're going to continue on a brunch on Saturday, brimming with local favorites, followed by an unforgettable afternoon at Churchill Downs. And through it all, you're going to be surrounded by the camaraderie of all your fellow BMW enthusiasts who also share your passion. So Beamer Life Rendezvous Bourbon Trail 2025 is available exclusively to the BMW Car Club of America members. So you can go on the website and sign up.
You're a Mercedes guy, so
I am a Mercedes guy. But I will say I do love, there's a few models of BMW that I love. If you're into fast cars, the M3 has always been one that is fascinating. So anybody they know about that. I always thought the 6 Series looked cool, but for some reason they didn't really sell well. They were 2-door coupes.
Yeah, I didn't like the look of those.
But they were long, and that's what I really loved about it. There was like a super sporty look to it. But I don't think they ever sold very well.
I like the 7 Series, and I like the X5s. Those are good-looking vehicles.
Okay, yeah, you're at the.
I'm a suburban.
Yeah, I was like, you're definitely in your soccer mom era.
That's right,
aren't you? The 7 Series are nice. It feels more like Cadillac.
Yeah,
where it's it's long. It's
I'm not a speed guy.
So yeah, see, that's
more of a
comfort ride.
Comfort, exactly.
I can see that. All right, and so other one that I talked about at the top here is that the rich hues of the legendary beverage of bourbon are now the inspiration for ORCA Golf's new Bourbon Collection of golf bags. You got Old Oak, Tawny, and Burnt Ember. They represent the different stages of colors of the distillation process. Not really, that's kind of the aging process, but that's what they said here. And they shine brightly in this new offering. It's handcrafted from premium synthetic leather with a subtle satin finish. So they have 2 different options versus Dorsal 1. It has a full-length divider and is 7.5 pounds. It's listed for $415. And the second is Dorsal 2. It's a smaller bag at 5.8 pounds, but it also comes with 4 zipper pockets, including 1 zip-off pocket face, a magnetic ball pocket, and 2 water bottle pockets. And this also is going to be retailing for $275.
Whoa. For a golf bag?
Yeah, is that expensive? I don't know golf bags very well.
I don't. I think I bought mine for like $120, but I'm not a golf bag person.
It feels like a golf bag should come with the purchase of a set of clubs.
I mean, yeah, some of them come as kits. Those are not the ones you want, but
that's probably my problem then.
Yeah, you have like the original Nike bag. It's old.
Well, yeah, I'm a fan of vintage stuff, Ryan. Is that
right?
Come on.
I don't think that's what you're going for there.
My woods are actually wood.
They are. Made of persimmon.
They're not. Okay, I don't shoot that bad, but yes, it is a original Nike bag, and that's when I found out when I took my stuff there. They go, Kenny, you know that Nike doesn't even make golf stuff anymore, right? And I go, no, I had no idea.
No, I was still in.
Yeah, I didn't know they exited out. All right, our last one is an event that's taking place at Hard Truth, and they're announcing a partnership with the World Food Championships called the WFC, and they're calling this Charred Truth. And this is a WFC Live Fire Invitational. It's taking place June 27th through the 28th, and this will bring together chefs, pit masters, grill masters, and open fire cooking specialists from across the globe to compete in a sizzling showdown of smoke, flavor, and fire. The winner of this event will be invited to compete at the WFC Championship, and that'll be held October 16th to the 19th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds and Event Center in Indianapolis.
I like it. Charred. Fire. All the above.
Yeah, the Charred Truth.
Charred Truth.
Charred Truth. I did look at this, and there were some people that, like, here's who you can expect to be there, and it was like world's best sandwich maker.
No way.
World's best barbecue. It was all this other kind of stuff. I was like, oh, I kind of want to go see this now.
I didn't know there was like a certification for world's best sandwich maker.
And there was, I think, like world's best hamburger creator and all this other kind of stuff too. So
dang, that's right at my alley.
I know. And speaking of like world's best stuff, I know you probably don't pay too much attention, but I also follow One Bite Pizza reviews from Dave Portnoy. Yeah, he rated something a 9.2 like a week and a half ago in New York, and it's gone absolutely bananas. And so it's Ceres, CERES, and it's gone crazy up in New York City.
I don't watch those, but I know when he rates them, it just goes. Even when he rates it bad, it get like
people want to go.
They want to be like, "How bad is it?"
Yeah, he's the Bruzel of the pizza world.
That's right.
That's the way it is, man. All right, so that's the end of the top of the news there, but stick around as usual. Bourbon release news coming up. All right, everybody, it is bourbon release news time. Just a couple to go over, some of the easy ones until we get to our Milam Greene at the very end, because they bring all the details here. So the first is that new Riff Distilling has announced the dual release of it's called First Decade Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey and First Decade Kentucky Straight Rye, and these are the distillery's first ever 10-year-old whiskeys. So this is New Riff's standard bourbon mash bill is 30/5, so 30/5. And the Kentucky Straight Rye whiskey, which is a 95.5. Both are going to be at 120.5 proof and have an SRP of $90.
10 year.
Less than $10 a year.
$10 a year. And New Riff's always good. I mean, I think the highest we've had is the 8-year, right? So
I don't even know. I'm still going through my stocks of 4-year I have at my house.
Yeah, we did a lot of picks with them, which were awesome. So I'm sure this 10 year is amazing. So hopefully we get a sample.
I'm sure they're listening. If you're listening out there, you know where to find
Tracy,
old Bourbon Pursuit over here. Yeah,
that's right.
Shout out to Tracy over there. She does a great job for him. All right, so this next one, pretty quick. Frank August is now announcing its release of its first flagship rye expressions called Small Batch Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. There you go. Pretty simple. It's comprised of only 10 to 15 barrels per batch and has an SRP of around $70 to $75.
I haven't tried this one yet. I've had when they did the case study, was it like the winter cover rye or something? It was really good. So I'm assuming this is like more regular offering of it, probably proofed down a little lower, but thought it was really good.
Yep.
But We got a bottle somewhere. We need
We
to
do?
try it.
All right. We'll go find it.
Yeah.
We'll go dig around the warehouse. It's got to be around here somewhere. All right. Our next one, again, really quick. Woodford Reserve is releasing a new limited edition bottle as part of its distillery series called Tawny Port Finish. So master distiller Elizabeth McCall combines a rye and bourbon blend. Oh, that's okay. Maybe it is. And then finished it in Tawny port barrels. It's then balanced by adding additional bourbon to it. So it's 90.4 proof, pretty standard, and is $65 for a 375 ml.
So they're going in the Boo Rye.
Boo Rye,
Tawny
finished in
port.
Tawny, and then it became too Tawny, so they said, let's add more bourbon to it.
I'm sure Hot West is like, don't call it a Boo Rye. Sorry.
You think they have that trademark? There's no way.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, so
They
you can't
definitely
even
do.
call anything a Boo Rye.
Nope.
Oh, well, I'm glad you looked into it.
Yeah.
Oh, so anybody out there is thinking about calling their new blend a Boo Rye, you got at least a lawyer coming after you at some point.
Yep. You don't want Constellation coming after you.
That's all bad news. All right, 2 more to go here. First is that Rebel Bourbon. It seems like they're always in the news.
This is more NASCAR.
It actually is, because it's the official bourbon of Richard Childress Racing. They've teamed up with Childress Vineyards on the release of Rebel 100 Childress Vineyards Cabernet Franc barrel finish. This limited release offering features Rebel's original time-honored wheated recipe. It's aged 4 years, then finished in Childress Vineyards Cabernet Franc barrels. It's bottled at 100 proof. Childress Vineyards. It's Childress. I keep reading this, and I'm Childress. Thank you. I keep reading it, thinking like, oh, they're just childless. They are without child. I feel so bad for them. They have great sleep, and they can buy a boat. They actually feature over 70 acres of vineyards and 15 varieties of European Vitis vinifera cultivars. Hope I didn't butcher that one too bad.
Don't know.
And that's at 2 different vineyard sites that are in North Carolina, and that's at Richards Hampton Road Estate in Davidson County and Vineyard Crossing at the winery site. There's an allocation around 500 cases that are to be available with a suggested retail price of $40 per bottle. It'll be available in North Carolina ABC stores and at Lux Row Distillers.
Very cool. I didn't know NASCAR fans were big wine drinkers. I thought they'd be drinking Bush Apple, but
There you go. Bush Apple making a comeback twice in the episode.
That's right. But I'm sure it's good. I had something in a Cab Franc finish the other day. I can't remember what it was. Sorry, but it was awesome.
It's
anyway.
crazy. I think this.
Oh, I know it was. It was Jimmy Redcorn. Brian had it Stillbox pick. It was a Jimmy Redcorn, like a Cab Franc, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally Cab finishes, I'm like, they get a little earthy and mushroomy, dirty. I'm just like, eh. But Cab Franc was really good.
This is probably another episode that we could take on a round table or something, but I think the allure of wine finishes, for me, it's dead. I don't know. I don't see anything that I'm like, oh yeah. I don't reach for a bottle on the shelf and be like, oh, this is aged in a wine barrel. This is doing this. And it brings all these fruit. It's like, I'll try it, but I don't know if I myself will find myself wanting to go and buy bottles of it much anymore. Maybe if it's a single barrel pick, but beyond there, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, for me, a lot of them miss the mark. It just doesn't really translate like what you think it would. And but yeah, one was good. For me, they just haven't hit the mark. I don't know.
Yeah, and I say that because our beloved Sherry Rye. If it's in market, you better go buy it. Our Sherry Riviera Rye, because I don't know when we're gonna ever do it again.
I know.
But it was so good. It was so delicious.
Just
but
consumers were
it's
like,
it's a tough
not
sell.
interested.
And so and like I said, maybe that's like why my thought is going to it, is like we're experiencing it firsthand of what consumers are actually gravitating towards and what they're buying. And, we had a double whammy there. 1, it was rye, which is already hard to sell. 2, it was a wine finished rye. So,
yeah,
golly, it's
flavor be damned.
Yeah.
Just consumers are consumers, though.
That's the way it is.
Yep.
Well, up next, Bush Apple finished Pursuit United.
Right after Cheerwine. We got a lot of messages after that.
Yeah.
Cheerwine.
Yeah.
So,
People actually gave you the link to actually go and buy Cheerwine syrup by the gallon, Ryan. So
I know.
Now it's up to you. The ball's in your court.
well, you told me the price, and I was like, well, do you really want to buy that much of it and coat a barrel? So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll have to figure out. If I don't know. I've never. I guess I need to try Cheerwine before we make that jump into it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I had no idea. We had another message from another supporter and ambassador saying that, Rarebird 101, his group, they had done a Mountain Dew finished wild turkey where they bought Mountain Dew syrup, coated a barrel, and then they added wild turkey. And not a 53-gallon, but a small barrel of it. They said, yeah, you couldn't really taste much of the Mountain Dew in there.
Well, they didn't do the syrup. They did the actual soda, I think.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, they said they probably should have done the syrup because it'd be more concentrated, get more flavors.
Then there we go.
Yeah.
We're just taking notes and stealing as we go here.
Yep.
All right, our last one here is that I say mime. It's an N. Milam Greene. Is it Milam?
Milam.
It is Milam. I don't know why the first one says Milam. All right, it is Milam because down here it does say Milam. So Milam Greene, they're introducing what's called The Answer, and that's in quotation marks, called The Answer Straight Bourbon. It's the first whiskey in the United States to isolate and identify the differences of the impacted climate of whiskey flavor and proof between Kentucky and Texas. To isolate the effect of local climate on bourbon aging, Milam Greene, they distilled a batch of bourbon in Bardstown, Kentucky on October 2019 using its proprietary yeast strain and a specific mash bill. Half the batch stayed and aged in Bardstown. The other half was transported and shipped to Blanco, Texas to age there, and all bourbon rested in 53-gallon barrels. Bardstown has colder winters with an average temperature around 40 degrees Fahrenheit and warm summers with an average temperature around 86.5 degrees, and that's going to be in July. Oh, we're not too far from it. And also has a lot higher humidity, ranging from about 65 to 85%. And the crate of the final proof of the Kentucky age was around 108. So the climate in Blanco, obviously it's a little bit warmer.
And drier.
And mild winters. Average temperatures around 60 degrees in January. However, it has have record hot summers with around 93.7 degrees in July it was registered. And a lower humidity around 50 to 60%. The rapid and dramatic temperature changes that happen within just a month of Blanco are also worth noting compared to Kentucky. The evaporation rate in Blanco was often greater, around 10% per year, compared to just 2 to 4% while in Kentucky, producing a final proof point of 116 when it was in Texas. So Milam Greene, The Answer, is going to be sold in two 375 ml bottles, and that bourbon can be in both Kentucky and Texas, and it's packaged in a bespoke wooden box. It's limited edition. Or should I say, it said a mash bill, but it actually has it right here. It's a 70% corn, 8% malted barley, and 22% malted rye. And there's going to be 800 cases available for $150 SRP.
For a 2-pack?
For a 2-pack, yeah. So
$375. That's pretty cool. You can try the same distillate aged in 2 different locations. That's pretty cool.
It's novel.
And it'll give you the answer.
Yeah.
Which is better aging environment.
Well, because it's actually...
My money's on Kentucky.
There you go. Well, it's actually packaged in a way that you get to experience it. We've experienced this only because we know friends at Independent Stave, and we can actually go and try the experiments that have been aged in different places. That was a podcast that we did with Andrew Webrink. I can't remember which episode it was ago, but you can go to bourbonpursuit.com and find the archive where we got to try a single malt aged in 2 different locations, and we could see the difference between them.
Yeah, I believe it was Texas and Kentucky, right?
Yeah, I think it was. So we got to see exactly what happened. And so now you, fellow listener, you get to go and experience it yourself.
You get to find the answer.
Yes, go and find it. I was lightly delighted that it wasn't
an animal
or some kind of crazy thing, and they just called it The Answer. I like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's
like
final.
It's like Allen Iverson. He was the answer.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was his tagline.
I didn't pay attention to NBA. But I don't know if it is the final answer. It is a answer. So we'll see, because there's so many other variables that come into play here too.
Totally.
That's it, everybody. That is This Week in Bourbon. Well, not too much else to go on, but like I said, if you are interested in joining the ambassador team, especially in the Texas area, we could really use your help. Give us a ring. And actually, don't call us. Just text me.
Text or email.
just email it.
Any digital way of communication.
That's the way we can do. But with that, cheers, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Doodles.